Blast me to Endor. It's time for the Mad Merlins unboxing of Star Wars Legion core set by Fantasy Flight and Atomic Mass Games. Hello and welcome back to another Mad Merlins unboxing. So today we are going to start going through the individual contents of my Star Wars May the 4th Legion bundle. And what better place to start than with the core set. So, this is a miniature games of epic battles in a galaxy far, far away, and it's by Fantasy Flight Games, but has recently been taken over by Atomic Mass Games. This is designed by Alex Davey, or Davey, however you want to say it. And this is the Galactic Civil War core set, the original one that first came out. They have, of course, recently released the Clone Wars core set. So many people have been getting the core set for that and some nice Clone Wars expansions. But for me, my heart is always in the Galactic Civil War era. I do love the Clone Wars, don't get me wrong. I love the time of Jedi and plenty of lightsabers. But there's just something about the Galactic Civil War that, I don't know, I suppose it's because I was introduced originally with the first film I watched that was Empire, so I started in the wrong place. But I suppose with my roots being in that time period of the Galactic Civil War, I do have a great love for this particular time period. So this is a core set, obviously, so we include a good lot of contents. So there are 33 plastic miniatures, 8 barricades, 15 dice, 3 movement tools, 1 range ruler, 8 unit cards, 35 upgrade cards, 14 command cards, 12 battle cards, 1 round counter, 107 assorted tokens, and a learn to play booklet. So it's ideal for ages 14 up because it is a plastic resin kit. 2 players, you can actually get 2 or more players depending on the size of the games you play, and it roughly takes 2 to 3 hours to play. So, as I said in my original unboxing, I do believe this box is slightly thinner than the original one. We'll just have to have a look on the inside. So, we'll bring in my trusty scalpel and open her up. Peel off the film. And lift the lid. So, we have our Learn to Play booklet. So, I'll have to flip through this one and see if it's updated rules, but I'm guessing it'll probably be still the same as the original rulebook that I have upstairs. I don't think it's been updated. But it's a lovely introductory book with some nice hobby ideas at the back there on how to bring your battlefields to life. So you've got a wood area here, assembly guidelines here and how to build your models, basic on preparing your models for painting, so adding your basing texture, priming your models, and then a little step-by-step method of painting up your miniatures. So your basic prime, base coated, washed, which is perfect for gaming with, layered, which gives you a little bit of detail, and detailed, which is what I will be doing for my characters. I will probably be leaving most of my units at the washed stage. I might do a few light layers, but nothing too heavy on the detail. And of course, here's a little bit about the different ways of playing. So it's a hobby. You collect different units for both Rebel and Empire. And of course now the Galactic Republic and the system Confederacy of Independent Systems. There's a great community, there's a website, of course. That one it's still running, but the new one is the Atomic Mass Games website. There's, of course, organised play events. And it's just a great way of meeting fellow Star Wars fans and enjoying a tabletop game. So, that is our rulebook. So, here is our card components. Just one great big sheet of tokens. And quite a lot of detail. So we've got various different tokens. We've got our round tracker. We've got all our unit command tokens, wound markers, our commander marker. We've got standby markers, aim markers, dodge markers, vehicle damage markers, panic markers, the other thing, the panic suppression tokens, some ion tokens, objective tokens, unit identification tokens, and victory point tokens. And of course, we got the battlefield edge markers. You can never have enough of these, especially if you are using custom battlefield line detail cards, or even just using battlefields that have some very odd shaped deployment areas. So that is that. Won't be opening it up yet. I've got plenty of tokens as it is. So now we're actually getting into our plastic contents here. So we'll start here. We've got a baggie of 27mm bases, grey for the Empire and red for the Rebels. We got a baggie of 40mm flying bases for our Scout Trooper bikes, and a large round base, I think that's like 60mm, for the AT-RT. Then we got all our card components, we'll come back to them later. Our baggie of dice, so we got red and white defense dice, red, white and black attack dice, and we got a button clip there for putting together the dial. Gaming tools, we've got our movement tools, so speed 1, speed 2 and speed 3. That's how movement is worked out in Star Wars Legion. Each one is just a 2 halves that clip together. I have never actually painted a set of these in all the core sets I've had, so it would be nice to actually paint this one up for the game, for my Get Started series. And then we have a range ruler. So most ranges are range 1 to 4, there are 5 and over for some units. And they basically interlock, and you can have a pretty good extended range. You got one cap end here, which is where you'd put against your base of your models. And then you can extend the range, just pretty much continue up and up, depending on how many of these you actually own. We've got our 8 barricades, 2 different designs, 4 of each. So we've got our one design here with just a little closed window and some controls there. And if I can find it, there we go. Our second design has, again, a window, but we've also got a little screen for reading out battlefields, targetings, etc. Okay. So first unit we'll grab here, this is the Speederbikes minus their riders. So these are rather nice little kits, go together pretty simply. And of course most of these kits you will require super glue to apply them and glue them together. But fairly easy to build. And here's our riders. So we've got 2 different riders, one who's leaning all forwards, and Sergeant there who's aiming behind, taking a shot at somebody just coming up at the rear. Next up we've got our AT-RT minus the rider, and we got full set of weapons here. So we got the laser cannon, the rotator cannon, and the flamer. There he is. So I've already got 2 of these, so I'm going to have to try and do a little bit of customizing to make this one look a little different to my other 2. I have done a head swap on one of my other ones. Alright, next we've got 2 clear flying stands for our Speederbikes. We got our commanders and our AT-RT pilot. So we got the AT-RT pilot there, handle for the controls, a gun, and just the one torso there. We have Vader, who is made up of the head and cape, the main torso, and of course she's Lightsaber. And then we got Luke, who is just main torso and he's Lightsaber. So you won't be getting much in the way of spare pieces. I have heard some horror stories of people getting 2 sets of Vader's lightsaber, but no head. But it's nice to see that I am so far free for free in having a perfect core set. So my previous Vader I have built and sprayed and painted, of course, but I haven't gone too mad into detail. So this time I'm going to leave the head as a separate component. I'm going to add a little bit more detail to this one, I think, and he'll be my personal favourite. And then we've got a bag of baggies full of our models. So in here, each baggie contains, of course, duplicate models. So there are 2 of every model in this game, other than characters and the AT-RT and speeder bikes. So we've got 2 of that pose of Stormtrooper, 2 of that pose, 2 of the Heavy Gunner, 2 of the Rocket Launcher, 2 of that pose, just trying to find it, 2 of that pose, and finally, where is he? There he is. And 2 of our squad leader. And the same goes for our rebels. We've got 2 of our female gunner here, 2 of our slightly older grizzled veteran that many people paint up at least one to be Rex from Return of the Jedi. We've got our rebel heavy gunner here, one and only alien species, the Duros here. I've actually done a head swap with this guy and the AT-RT pilot in my other set. I think I'll be doing something a little different. I might be doing a bit of more personal customization. We got our female ion gunner here. Not very useful in the core set, but against Empire armies that run tanks and AT-STs, she could be very useful nowadays. We got our final regular trooper here, just a young male. Of course, you can always paint up all these as different alien species that have human characteristics. I've done quite a few. I've done a few Chis or Chais, and there's a few other alien species I've done. And then we have our squad leader. So he has a gun, set of binoculars, and his legs are separate to the back of his cape. So again, I might do the same with Vader and paint this, leave this loose so I can paint all the detail in behind. Okay, I won't go into too much detail looking up close of all the individual figures, but I will look at our main characters, as that's the important bit, and we'll look at the cards. So I will set up overhead and I'll be right back. Okay, here we are on overhead cam, and first up we've got Vader here. So he is simply 3 components. As we can see, there is a nice lot of detail. You can see the straps holding his chest plate in. Of course, if you remember have watched the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, we see that this is actually pushed right into his chest with interfaces to attach to his organs and stuff to help him regulate breathing and heart beating, much like a Space Marine's armor is plugged directly into their nervous system. But we have him here in a rather commanding, reaching out of his arm, force choking pose. We got the lower half of his cape there, his armor, his boots. So I did my original Vader so many years ago, but I did a dark grey for the undersuit, a charcoal black for the gloves, and then for all his armor components I did a dark matte black and then varnished it to show it as a proper armor. And here we have his head, so separate component like I said. I'll be leaving it as such until I finish painting him, because there is a nice lot of detail on the backside of Vader. But they just push in fairly simple. You might want to trim down the peg a little bit just so it sits more flush. But other than that. And finally, we got his lightsaber. So I've seen quite a lot of people actually have painstakingly put wires on the inside and put microscopic LEDs inside. I do not have the patience or skill to do that, but I have done quite a good job at painting lightsabers and making them look semi-realistic, but good enough at least for a gaming standard. And what is a father without his son? So here we have Luke, of course. Oh, spoiler alert, of course, if you haven't watched that one yet. So here we have Luke in his Bespin fatigues. Quite a few mold lines on this guy, so you'll definitely have to clean up all your models. And a point I will be making when I do the Get Started series is I do suggest to wash all of these components to remove any residue from the molding process. That's his lightsaber. Bring in Vader's lightsaber. We can see the similarities in design, of course. This is just Anakin's lightsaber from when he was a Jedi. Of course, Vader kept a very similar design for his new saber. Okie dokie. Right, let's have a look at our card components next. Okay, Star Wars Legion uses two different sizes of cards. We've got our standard size trading cards here, and then we've got the smaller cards for upgrades and stuff. So first off, we've got our command cards. So each deck includes one each of the 4 generic command cards. We have 1 pip for ambush, 2 pips for push, 3 for assault, and 4 for standing orders. This is the only card you will most likely play twice, because this one gets shuffled in at the end of your command phase. You return it back to your hand and shuffle back into your deck. But these are just the basic cards. You can, of course, choose whichever cards you want from the different ones. You've got your commander-specific ones. Then you even have faction-specific ones as well. So the way activation goes in Star Wars Legion is the amount of pips at the top of the card. The lower the card you use, the more likely the guaranteedness you will go first. Of course, ties will have to be given over. I think it's Empire, if in the event of a tie. I can't remember. I haven't played in... Well, I did play a while back when I finished building my game board. But, yeah. So most likely, early on, you may want to go last. So you'll put in the high cards first. But as you get further and further into the game, you'll want to go first. So, character cards are another type of command card. So each character has 3 cards that you add to your hand to give yourself a deck of 7. You don't have to include all of them, so you can pick and choose which ones you want. If you've got a couple of different commanders, and even some elite units get the choice of command cards, especially individuals. So these cards will, of course, most of them will target the character in question, but some of them, like new ways to motivate them, targets 2 trooper units. So when a friendly non-Darth Vader trooper unit with a face-up order token activates, it may suffer a wound to perform a free action. So these cards the character ones at least give you some extra bonus rules, which is nice. New ways of opening up play. And then we have Luke's cards here. So we've got Son of Skywalker, which targets Luke himself. My ally is the Force, targets 2 troopers. And then Return of the Jedi, which is Luke and 2 units. So much like his father, but they have different effects, because obviously they are a light side faction. So one of the key differences to Star Wars Legion to other games is how the game and objectives are decided. For that, we have 3 decks of cards. So there's 4 cards in each deck. We have our blue, which are our objectives. So this is basically what the missions will play out like and how to obtain victory. Our red cards are our battlefields. So we got just the standard Dawn of War, corner to corner, split corners, and long end, short end to short end. So a slightly bigger deployment zone, but you are restricted because you're on a smaller edge. Most Star Wars Legion full-size games are played on a 3x6, I believe, table. Smaller games, such as Skirmish, is played on a 3x3, which I have a board for, which would be perfect for my Get Started series. And then we have our green cards, which are the environmental conditions, basically, to say how the battlefield is, or how the environment on the battlefield is going to be. So you've got limited visibility, which reduces your range. Rapid reinforcements allows you to bring in extra troops. A hostile environment, so there's a chance you might take damage from terrain pieces. And we've got clear conditions, so nothing affects the battlefield. So the way we choose these is we shuffle them, place them 3 of each face down, and then start eliminating 1 card in the row until we only have 3 cards left. You can't eliminate the last card in each row, but once I think it's so many cards have been eliminated, you take the leftmost cards and use those. Okay, next we have our unit cards. So these are the cards for each of our characters and units, and it gives you all their rules, what upgrades they can take, their points cost, their health, their save dice, their bravery, what unit type they are and how many in the unit, and of course all their weapons, their move, and any surges. So surges is a special way of modifying your dice. You have this symbol here, which is the surge symbol for defense, and this symbol is the surge for offense. If you roll this and you have a surge ability like that, you can automatically change the surges to the result shown on your card. There is, I believe, a new rule where units can take a surge action, which means they can use a surge action to get a surge token, which allows them to then modify dice they would not normally be able to do so. So here we have Luke. We've got quite a few different effects for Luke. So he's got deflect and immunity to pierce, thanks to his lightsaber. He has after you perform a charge ability, so after you perform a move action, you perform a free melee attack action. Then we have jump, so he allows Luke to basically jump over terrain, makes him a lot quicker. So he's got his father's lightsaber and his DL-44 pistol. So our weapon stats show how many dice we roll for each and the range. So the red range here is melee. So Anakin's saber has 6 black dice, so that's a pretty good attack dice. It also has impact, so if you're facing anything with armor, you can do some severe damage. And you also gain pierce, so it shows a lightsaber can easily go through most armors. And the DL44 pistol is a range 1 to 2 and 2 red dice with Pierce. Red is the best dice, I believe. Black is the best. Red is second to best. And then you've got, oh no. Yeah, black. No, yeah, I was right the first time. Red is the best, then black, and then white is your worst. So we've got Rebel Troopers, we get 2 of this card. So unarmed is a black dice, and range 1 to 3 of their A20 280 blaster rifle. It's a single black dice. The upgrade icons I've got to mention on Luke, you get 2 force abilities and 1 gear icon. For Rebel Troopers, we get a heavy, an additional trooper, a gear, and a grenade. So Rebel Troopers have nimble. Of course, there's a opposite side. Most will just have a brief description about the unit, but some will have more detailed rules. And then we have our AT-AT, who has a interface weaponry set and a communication device. So vehicles work a little bit differently. Instead of bravery, they have a amount of damage that they can take before they become ineffective. So this guy can take 4 damage before he loses all usability of his gear. And if we see on the other side of the AT-AT here, we do have, like I said, some of the weapon keywords are detailed on this side. Same for Luke. And for the Empire, we got Vader. So Vader's lightsaber is 6 red dice, because he's just that much more evil. And he has impact and pierce, and can take 3 force powers. And he is a mighty 200 points. So points in Legion works a little differently. Most games are, your standard game is 800 points. Skirmish games are 300. And you can do mega-sized battles, which are 1600. So that's the other side of Vader. So it does go into more detail about the rules and weapon keywords there. Our Stormtroopers have precise, which, as we've seen in the films, we know they're not that precise. But when you spend an aim token, you get to roll an additional dice. So aim tokens basically allow you to re-roll 1 dice, but with the precise rule, you'd then be allowed to re-roll 2 dice. And as we can see, they haven't the best of shots. They have their E11 blasters with a single white dice, but they're a little bit more effective in close combat. And they have a similar sort of upgrade bar to the Rebel Troopers. And finally, our speeders. So our speeder bikes are, again, they're vehicles, but they don't suffer any damage because they're a little bit more, they're less intricate than a larger vehicle such as the AT-AT. But while they are moving fast, they do gain the benefit of cover thanks to their speeder rule, and they get to improve their cover thanks to their cover 1 rule. So they got their little blaster cannon underneath the vehicle. It is fixed to the front so you can't fire behind you. Has an impact 1 and rolls 1 of each colour dice. These are the fastest unit in the box with a movement value of 3. A pretty useful unit for the Empire. This is my 3rd unit of. I haven't got the basic squad, but there's not much difference between the two. On to our second set of cards. So these are our upgrades. So we get additional troopers, which basically give you an additional unit, squad member to your units. We got heavy weapon upgrades, which gives you a heavy weapon trooper. And as you can see, the card has a different weapon profile for that weapon. So the DLT-19 Stormtrooper has a range 1 to 4 with 2 red dice and gains impact. Each card also shows the points cost. And we have a bonus icon here, so this means you have to exhaust the card in order to use it, because it takes a while to set up. So to exhaust a card, you go from upright to sideways like so. Then you have to do an action called a ready action, which untaps your card. Then we got the HH12 missile launcher, so it's no good at range 1, but at range 2 to 4 with 3 black dice. We've got our Z6 for our rebel troopers. Basically a lot of shots, but not very good effective piercing. And we got our ion trooper. And we've got the cannon guns for the AT-RT, so we've got a rotary blaster, a laser cannon, and a flamethrower. And then we've got a bunch of force abilities for our 2 force wielders. So we've got Jedi Mind Trick, which is a light side only. It allows you to force a unit to get more suppression. Force Choke, which is dark side only. Force Push, you get 2 of those. Force Reflexes, and Battle Meditation, and also Saber Throw. And we got some additional gear. So we got grenades. We only get concussion grenades in the core set, but there are quite a few different types in the expansions. And finally, we got targeting scopes to allow our units to gain precise. So good on stormtroopers, giving them precise 2, and even good better on rebels because they got precise for their better guns. And then finally, we got a long-range communication stick. So there we go. I'll bring everything in and we'll be ready for my final thoughts. So there we have the unboxing for the Star Wars Legion core set. Price-wise, as I mentioned in my unboxing video for the bundle, we have the core set price at $119.99. But at the moment, as it's an older core set, most places like Kirton have it for around £80 to £90. But you get a good amount of stuff in here. You get 2 sizable armies, 2 exclusive commanders in the form of Vader and Luke. And of course you get some nice alternate sculpts to stuff that you can buy separately. You also get all your basic gaming equipment, plus a nice handy learn to play manual. You also have access to the digital versions of the expanded rules online. You can download those as a PDF and easily print them off if you like a physical copy to flip through and see all the updated rules and new rules that have come out since this core set released. And of course you also get your lovely amount of cardboard stock. Like I said, I already have 2 copies of that lot anyway, so I'll probably just use my previous set and leave that one as a spare. But of course you can get most of the cardboard stock and the plastic controls in a handy Battlefield Essentials box now, so you don't need to go spending on a core set if you don't want to. But if you are going to get into Star Wars Legion, a core set is a brilliant way to go. Not just one, I do suggest 2, because you get to double up on all your troops and units. And it allows you to build a bigger force a lot quicker than having to figure out which upgrades will be better for you by buying different unit expansions. So I did pick this up from Kirton Games, who there is an affiliate link for in my description down below. Also check them out for other Star Wars Legion items to help expand your collection. And like I said in the previous video for the unboxing of this, there will be a Get Started series coming in the future. I'm not too sure if I'll get it done this year. I have my 40k one to finish, but we'll see how we go. I've got to write all the scripts and stuff. I do also have Lord of the Rings to finish working on and get sorted, so that might be coming a little bit before this. But anyway, keep your ears and eyes on my channel and my social medias, and also my Buy Me a Coffee page, where I'll be sharing hobby news as and when it occurs. So that was, again, the unboxing for Star Wars Legion core set. If you're interested in learning this, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will try and push forward the Get Started series. So, all that's left for me to do is say thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe, and of course all my links in the description down below. So I'll see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye.